Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming to the show tonight. I'm Mary Barrett. Pam is not feeling too well today, so I hope her headache.
Get connected with Take Two Radio on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio. For email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit take2radio.com.
Hi, everybody. I guess I talked a little too soon earlier. This is Mary Barrett, and thank you for joining our show. Pam has a headache tonight, so it's basically going to be me talking. She is working the board, though. We are waiting for Christopher St. Booth to call in. And let me tell you guys something. He is really great, and he's very personable, and he is just so knowledgeable. And I'm sure once he calls in, Pam, area code 310, if you'll patch him through, that would be great. Okay. As most of you know, Christopher St. Booth is a producer. He's an author. He's a lot of things. I'm going to let him tell you about himself and his new book when he joins us. He also does have a twin brother named Philip, and they do really good work together. For more information on them, if you go to spookedtv.com, you can read up all on them. Chris does a lot of good things for a lot of people. I met him at one of our Paracons in Oklahoma City, and he was really nice. You think somebody who has his clout credentials wouldn't really speak with anybody, you know, they'd be kind of nose up in the air, but not Chris. Chris is very nice. And he just got married. He's been married about a year to Rachel, and he's very nice also. They do travel together, and they do a lot of work together, and Rachel is also a model, and I've seen a lot of her pictures, and she does very well. Okay, let's check with Pam.
Mary, I'm just going to interrupt you now because we do have Chris on the phone, so have fun, you guys.
Thanks, Pam. Hi, Chris.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi. I was just telling them about meeting you 2 years ago in Oklahoma and how knowledgeable.
I'm trying to remember that gig. That was the one with the cool fort, right?
Yeah.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing great. Just to let you know, you had posed some pictures with my daughter, and she now, you said she would go make a good model, so she has a modeling contract now, and she's doing okay.
That is awesome.
And I was just telling people how personable you are, how people can talk to you, and you're just right down here with the rest of us.
Oh, you bring me a quarter pounder, I'll talk to you.
And I was telling them about Rachel and how you just got married last year.
Yes, it's actually will be our 1 year anniversary on Sunday.
Wow, happy anniversary, you two.
Thank you. Yeah, time flies, isn't it?
Oh, you're telling me. Okay, we were talking about, you know, the things that you do, so I'm going to give you the mic and let you tell people about what you do and about your new book that's coming out. I can't wait to read it.
Well, basically, I've been a musician forever. I mean, I started as a musician, and then when things weren't paying as well as one needs it, I ended up getting into film production. And I worked at that for quite a bit of time until eventually I started making my own producing and writing and even directing some of the documentaries. And we actually started off doing horror movies. And then while we were at a very haunted place, which was Waverly Sanatorium, the infamous one, it actually started, paranormal activity started going on, and that intrigued us, and that actually turned into a documentary called Spook, The Ghost of Waverly Sanatorium, and Syfy Channel picked that up, and Sony Pictures picked up the movie, and that's kind of where it all started. And then, 7 titles later for Sci-Fi Chiller and Redbox and some of the other outlets, we're still going strong. And then decided I gotta unleash all this information that I've gone through for the last 10 years, the behind the scenes, the story behind the story, the truth of what really goes on behind a paranormal investigation. And it just started to flow out, and I pretty much wrote it in a couple of months over obviously 10 years of experience of going through it. And it's a very personal, compassionate, human approach to a very incredible adventure. And it does involve a lot of people that we worked with, John Zaffers and Bill Chabel from Digital Dowsing, Keith Age, Rosemary Young, Guiley, Troy Taylor, all the people we worked with, what I kind of learned from them, and over 28 chapters and 18 locations. So it's frightening and it's emotional. It's an incredible roller coaster ride.
Are you there? Did we lose you?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Why don't you tell us about your new book?
Yeah, well, it's out. The book will be out on the 24th, and it is now being basically, we're doing a pre-sale where it's a limited edition. The first 100 copies get autographed and numbered, and you can get that now at spooktv.com.
Are you going to end up making a movie out of this book, or is this book from all your adventures?
It would make a great movie because it's basically the story behind the story. So it would make it would be an incredible movie.
You want to give them a little tidbit about it?
Well, we go through, like I was saying, we go through 18 locations, 28 chapters of it, and it starts on our mine and Phil's first paranormal experience when we were 13, when we actually saw our grandmother come into our bedroom and speak to us. And then, of course, it goes through at that point into my production on several movies in haunted locations. And at that point, we get into understanding spiritual and the emotional side of it, as well as the technical, scientific side of it, and then basically the fight in between, and also the aftermath of the hitchhikers, the ghostly hitchhikers and the shadow people that have a tendency to visit you after being involved in such an extensive investigation. And so it goes through basically 18 locations of craziness that happened after and during the investigations that we filmed.
Now you have like 72 credits to your name. Does your brother Philip, does he have the same passion you do as far as being with the movies, making the movies, producing them?
Yes, of course. He does different duties in the sense of he directs, edits, writes, and cinematography. He does the cinematography, color correction, basically the way the films look. I produce, write, and direct, and also do the music. So we kind of do, opposites, but the same thing. And he's very passionate about what he does. And being identical twins, we don't have a choice anyway.
I know. I've seen him on Facebook. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him, but I've seen him on Facebook, and he seems like he's always behind the camera.
Yeah, that's his weapon of choice, so to speak, and he's a really good capturer. He captures incredible things, and the way it looks and presents. It's a storytelling. People have different tools for storytelling, whether you're a writer or you film and you need to know how to capture expression from people and the basic locations talk as well, and it's an art form alone just to capture it. So together we've made some very cinematic achievements. I think over 13 films in the last 10 years.
Wow. Could you tell us what would you consider your best piece of work? Do you have a particular piece that you really like, or is it all really good?
Well, I think every film has a memory, an imprint on your emotion, on your heart and soul. Especially if you put 100% into everything you do. And whether it's, say, I'll just Spooked, where you're dealing with a very tender story of people that passed away on tuberculosis, and they're still lingering, possibly looking for that cure that they never got, and that's very emotional in general, trying to realize it's time to move on. And because the cure had been found, some of them obviously didn't get it because it was too late, but those people may be still lingering. They need to know that. It's all about closure. Everything's about closure. And then to the orphan children and children of the grave, where we're dealing with ghost orphan children, and the toughness of basically, when you have a child, it's really pulls at your heart, because you'll do anything to protect it. Well, now you're dealing with ghost children, which is difficult because you can't hold them, and you can't make them feel as loved and safe as you could as a human being. So that tears at your heart, especially when you're dealing with hundreds of mass graves that you find. Right to possessions and exorcisms, which are very intense, which play with your psyche. I mean, this doesn't end when you call it a day. I mean, you really dwell on it, because it's the dark side, and the dark side has a nature of destroying the light. So it's very important that you keep your aura going. And then, of course, to Native Americans, ghost stories of skinwalkers and shapeshifters, which was in the movie Soulcatcher, which we did right after The Exorcist. We did the real Exorcist story. We actually were the first ones, and at that time the only ones, to go inside the house and show you what it really looked like, where most of the possession and exorcism happened, in a movie called The Exorcist File. And after that, of course, we moved to the Soulcatcher, which is basically a Native American story of haunted burial grounds and how they treated. It's basically the Holocaustic first genocide of the Native American, and how they tried to turn them into, basically white, and cut their hair and made them lose their language and their native tongue. And it was very devastating. Of course, they threw them in boarding schools. So we did a lot of investigations in haunted boarding schools. That was very emotional, because you're dealing with a whole race of people that had lost a lot of integrity and pride and spirit. Spirit was broken, and we tried very hard to create closure to bring that back. Of course, and we went back to our next movie, Children of the Grave 2, which deals with bullying and actually deformed ghosts, which is another powerful subject in its own right. And dealing with that was very emotional. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what story you deal with, it's very intense.
Right. Now, I believe you were born in England, correct?
I'm sorry?
You were born in England, am I correct?
Yes, born in Yorkshire, England, the north of England, about 400 miles from Scotland.
Okay. And how long have you been in the States?
A long time, a very long time. I can't even remember how long I've been here.
Okay. So most of your work has been here in the States, though, correct?
Yes, it's been dealing with Americans' hauntings, and though we have talked about going overseas and continuing our adventures over there, of course, one place I'd love to do, it's on my bucket list, is I would love to do Tibet. I would love to deal with the afterlife in Tibet.
Okay. I know when I saw you in Oklahoma, you were going to start a movie, I believe, down in Louisiana.
Yes, that's correct. It was called Dead Still, and that premiered last year in October of 2014 for Halloween on the Syfy channel. It actually was a Syfy co-production, and that was about dead Victorian death photography, which is basically something that they really did, and they basically took pictures of the dead, and they would basically try to make them look alive so they could capture them with the rest of the family that was still alive, and they would prop them up, basically looking like they were alive, and they would stand all around them and take pictures. And the fascination of just that subject matter made a great script. Of course, we brought in an old real Victorian death photography camera from the late 1800s, and it became a major key prop and basically a hero of the movie. And the movie's about a haunted Victorian camera that can't forget the pictures that it's taken, basically.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I was telling the listeners before you called in how knowledgeable you were. I had taken a picture. We were in a bar for a costume party, and I took a picture of Martha Decker. She is the paranormal investigator, and I took it up to Chris to look at it, and right away he looked at the picture and said, there's the face of a dog right on her dress. So he's very knowledgeable and very fast at picking things up.
Well, you can feel it too, though. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can. I mean, in my book, I describe a lot of the gut feeling and the theory of it. But I mean, it's important that you go by your intuition. There's a lot in photos. You can get matrixing, you can get light abnormalities and all kinds of things. But it's also about really knowing what you're looking for and understanding the nature of what direction would come in and why and where it would surround, and also, the prominence of the image and the way the lighting is. So it's just also very much about your gut feeling.
Well, we have a question for you. It's from Pam, our host here. She said, is there one situation that really scared you, and have you thought twice about doing paranormal situations because of it?
I was going to say probably almost every question that you can ask me, you say, it's in the book. It's in the book. It's in the book, because in the book I do discuss that, and basically I've done a lot of investigating in a lot of cases, and I have seen, obviously quite a bit, but none of it really has happened to me personally. Well, there was several times that certain things happened to me personally that I never thought would go down, and when they do, you really get really frightened. You get really, I guess, you step back and say, do I really want to go down this road, because it's getting pretty intense. And one of those situations was I was attacked and pulled out of bed, and of course the story is in the book exactly what happened, but it was enough frightening to make me realize that what doors am I knocking on?
Mm-hmm. Now, I have a question for you. Now, your wife, Rachel, and I heard that you've met at a Paracon up in Kentucky, I believe. But I understand she's into the paranormal, too. Do you two work together as far as going on investigations? And is she as excited about it or enthusiastic about it as you are?
Well, she's not really, per se, into the paranormal. She has an open heart, an open mind about it, and she is very sensitive. These are the things you learn, obviously, when you spend a lot of time with people. You start to pick up and realize the sensitivity. Of course, it does excite me realizing that how sensitive she really was. I didn't really know all this, of course, when we first met. We met at Dead WinterCon in Kentucky, and the more she would go to some of the investigations, the more she would have serious feelings. I mean, to the point where she would throw up. She would start to feel that there was certain, ghosts or spirits around us, and she would start to pick them up but get very frightening, or she would take on possibly some kind of pain that would be identified later as what it would have happened in that case, whether it was, maybe a woman that was abused or had maybe some kind of form of abortion or something in a very terrible situation in the paranormal, she would start to feel those pains. And of course, after we did the research, we would find that, these kind of wounds, whether it was in the stomach or the head or maybe an eye wound, was, basically reminiscing to what she was feeling. So at that point, I think she realized she was very sensitive. So when she went in, she had to start protecting herself a little bit more, as far as one's psyche has to be in complete tune when you go into this, as you know, and it's very important that you have your protection around you when you go in there. So she enjoys the adventure, but at the same time, she can only go in for so long because it takes its toll.
Right. Yeah, she looks like she would be very open. So that, oh wow, that's really good. I bet you she can write a book on it herself and tell all her stories.
Yeah, well, she's had. We had done something a couple months ago, and she actually had a very serious attack when she was there. So I think what we did is, I was basically really trying to see what level her sensitivity as an empath is growing. I find it very much growing. Of course, she's very much into crystals now, and she's making a lot of crystal jewelry that has a lot of incredibly positive energy in it, and which is a really beautiful thing to be around that sort of creation while you're creating yourself. So I think the word muse is a good word that comes into play here.
Yes, I heard about her jewelry, and I heard she makes very beautiful jewelry. Let me ask you a question about your book again. Let's go back to that. Where could people buy the book right now?
The book comes out on the 24th. It ships on the 24th, and we did a limited edition of only 100 copies this week, basically, or next week. And they are autographed and they are signed. And of course, upon release, and we'll do the massive release, and it'll be available, everywhere, wherever books are sold. But right now, you can get an autographed limited edition at spooktv.com, www.spookedtv.com, and I personally will autograph it for you, and it will also be numbered 1 out of 100, depending, when you order it and what is left when you order it. And it has a different cover than the original cover that will come out in a couple of weeks.
Okay, and we have another question here. Are you open to go into people's homes if they call you to go in and do an investigation?
I'm not really that form of an investigator or possibly a healer in that sense, because a lot of people need healing, whether it's blessings or healing when they want their homes cleared or closure provided. Mm-hmm. What I really am is a documentarian. I film and I take notes and study it, and then I like to tell the story, whether through the camera or now through the book, to help you understand it and obviously lead you in the right direction of what I feel is what is it's a calling. We are open for stories that can be told on camera and then can obviously be televised or put out there for everybody to learn and understand. That's more what I do, more than go in there and be a paranormal investigator. If you do have a story, feel free to Facebook me, message me, and say, hey, I got a story, and then I'll give you my email address, and then we'll see if it's something that we can do.
Okay, great. Do you have any last words you would like to tell our people?
Just to keep it real out there. Remember why we're out there doing this. Paranormal is about closure. It's about helping. It's not about the paranormal investigator. It's not about the locations. It's really about helping the spirits move on, become clear of their terrible limbo that they might be in. So it's about treating them with respect and be very compassionate about everything that you do.
Chris, would you consider yourself a medium?
I consider myself somewhat empathic. I would hate to label it, because I think if you label it, then you have a tendency, say, if, you're a chef, well, now you make food, so
Right.
I'm really careful about labeling because I just think that I'm really oversensitive in the sense of I've classified, I go also in my book about this, about what HSP, highly sensitive person, really is and what you expect to get out of it. When a very early age, I couldn't fit into the real world. That was a closed door for me. I had to I see things different. And of course, when I got introduced into the paranormal and it started connecting to me, that's when I realized that I really pick up emotions, very empathic. And for that reason, that makes you very open to paranormal activity. You can feel it all around you. Whether you can even feel the energy of insects in the sense of just what they're putting out. It's just a very powerful thing once you learn that you need to then accept and teach so you don't go completely bonkers, so you can be able to sleep at night so you're not worrying about the world's troubles, which obviously is out there very heavy now. So I feel I'm very empathic.
Right. Okay. I know I'm a psychic medium. I'm really strong with it. And I'll tell you what, spooky movies and I don't get along very well. But I have watched a couple of years, and I'm going to continue to watch them. So I would suggest everybody go check out Chris's books and all his movies and the shows. Do you have any shows coming up? I'm sorry, but I didn't know that answer.
Oh, yes, I do. I'm actually going on a book signing tour, and the first one is coming up next week, and that will be the Mid-Ohio, and that is at Poasttown Haunted School in Middletown, Ohio, and that's July 17th and 18th, which is probably one of the bigger, 100% focused paranormal event. And then after that, I'll be in Louisville, Kentucky at Fandom Fest, which is a horror convention, which basically, Star Wars, all the people from Star Wars to all your favorite horror star will be there as well. And then we're going to be doing the Central Illinois Con in Mattoon, Illinois, which is doing some incredible ghost hunts. And we'll be at Ashmore Estates in Ashmore, Illinois on the 22nd, and we're doing a ghost hunt there. And I think there are 2 tickets left. I think it's sold out, except for 2 tickets. And then after that, we're doing a show called Roads to the Paranormal in Indiana as well. And there'll be a ghost hunt, several ghost hunts there, as well as an incredible paranormal time. And we'll be doing the Gaia Opera House ghost hunt that night in Louisville, Indiana, which is always want to do. Well, opera houses are so cool to do because it's full of creativity in general and not being very artsy. It's going to definitely prove to have some nice vibes. Then we're doing the incredible Scarefest in Kentucky, which is one of the biggest paranormal and horror shows in the state. And that'll be September 11th to 13th. Of course, Dead Still, our movie, will be screening there that night, the director's uncut version. And they're giving away free wine and beer there too. So you get to see our movie, hang with us, watch the movie, and then we'll go out to a very large party, and that's September 12th. On October 16th, we'll be at Fright Night in Louisville, Kentucky, and October 17th and 18th, we'll be in Owensboro, Kentucky at Ghost Con, and then December 4th, we'll be in Texas at Mineral Wells Paracon, which will be an incredible event.
Well, I will be seeing you first off in Indiana because I'm going to be there. I'm doing a gallery there also.
Which one will you be at?
Roads to the Paranormal.
Awesome. Great. I look forward to seeing you again.
Great. So will I. And if there's anything else you want to add, go ahead and add it. Otherwise, I'll let you go back to your wife and your business.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually back to work for me, but just basically check out the book if you have a chance. It's called Paranoia, The Strange Case of Ghosts, Demons, and Aliens. And it's 10 years of my life, of what I've seen and witnessed and recorded on film, and some of the best evidence and stories I believe ever captured. And you can get that at spooktv.com. And there's you get it autographed, and it's got a beautiful cover which I love, and I think it will definitely change your life, if not inspire you, if you're very interested and involved in the supernatural and the paranormal.
Great. I'm going to have to get one of those and read it. But thank you so much for being a guest tonight. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, and give my love to your daughter, and congrats on that, and God bless you.
Same to you. Talk to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Pam? Oh, I guess Pam.
Yes.
Hello. Oh, there you are. Hi, girl.
You got to give me time to push the button because I mute myself when you're talking.
Okay. Didn't I tell you Chris was fantastic?
Very, very interesting. And he mentioned about being in Mattoon, and I know I've heard of that in Illinois. I'm just not positive where it is, how far it is. But that would be something that sounds like it would be a lot of fun to go to. So do you know his website? I was trying to look it up while he was talking, and all I found was the Booth Brothers blogspot.com.
No, Spooked, SPOOKED. Yeah, Spooked TV.com.
Okay,
yeah,
well, that's good for our listeners to know then, because he rambled off all those different dates, and we can't remember all those.
Right. Well, I'll tell you something. Chris is really personable, and it takes you to the blogspot.com, by the way. I just went ahead and did the Spook TV, and it came up, spookproductions.blogspot.com. Yeah. And it has everything there. Yeah. But he's a good guy to talk to. I mean, he's one of the guys that you'd see on the street and would stop and talk to you.
Yeah,
he's down to
sounds
earth.
like it. And even though he doesn't have a lot of his English accent left, he's got enough of it to make me go, woo!
I know. And you know what? He's lost a lot of it over 2 years, because when I spoke to him in person, it was really heavy. And now it's fading away a little bit, but I don't think he'll ever get rid of it. Not totally.
Yeah, probably not. I think it always depends on what situation they're in and what words they're saying and stuff like that. When they get around their, family that's from England or their friends or something, I bet it brings it out even more.
Oh yeah, it's like I'm here in Tennessee, but when everybody says, "Oh, you have an accent," then I go back up to Pennsylvania, and I notice I have more of an accent when I'm up there, the Pennsylvania accent,
Right.
But
right.
I think you always carry it with you. But I know that you have a really bad headache, and we'll go ahead and we'll close off the show. And I think it's summer, and that's why a lot of people have not been calling in, but we'll gear up, and in 2 weeks I have another special guest, and in a month I have another special guest that I'll be telling you all about. So we're booked up here.
And also tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, I play a paranormal show. I don't know which one it's going to be yet. It's a re-air of the Mallard Report and one of his guests. I have to pick one tonight and put that up. And with having the migraine, it's not easy listening to stuff and doing work when you feel like this. And then also on Sunday, on here at 7 p.m. Eastern Time is Take Two Radio Junior, and that's my kids' show. The guest is going to be Dina Marie Filippini, and she's going to be talking about her book, The Adventures of Precious Penny, and then she's going to read it live on air for the kids. So hope you'll join us. You can find any of this information at take2radio.com, take2radiojunior.com, and that's with the number 2. And, of course, if you follow us on Blog Talk Radio, you get an email each and every time we have a guest, and then you won't miss whoever you want to listen to. And you're always free to call in for any show, even if you just want to talk to Mary or if you just want to talk to me. I don't have anything interesting to say, but you can call in. The phone number is 718-506-1540, and you just press the number 1. And that's it. Thank you, Mary, for a great show. Pardon?
You are very interesting to talk to.
Oh, okay. Thanks. So, anyways, thank you for a great show, Mary. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. And we'll talk again soon, so you can let me know who your next guest is. So join us on the second and fourth Friday of the month for Mary's show.
Pam, they can also go to my website at dr-mary-barrett.org, and they can listen to the shows again and again and again, because I have them up there too, as well as the link to go to the Blog Talk show.
Right, right. You can pretty much find the show anywhere. Also on the go on your cell phones too. It's at Spreaker, Stitcher, TuneIn, and iTunes, all for free. So that's it for me.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening, and talk to you soon, Pam.
Thanks. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Get connected with Take Two Radio on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio. For email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit take2radio.com.